Welcome to season 2 of the
K-Pasa Podcast. Welcome to the K-Pasa Podcast and reviews, everybody. I am not only the host, but I'm a one part of the member of the podcast. So I ain't even gonna say I'm the host, go be equally host on this show. So welcome back, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us. We got a couple things we want to talk about this week.
And don't forget on the throw it behind the back, LEU action pack to the next guy so he can get his racks.
It's blocked. and it's blocked. All right. On a serious note, we got a couple things we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know what we're gonna talk about this week. First thing we're gonna talk about, well, I ain't gonna say in no particular order. We're gonna talk about the Cash App scam with Cash App and the credit union. Then we're gonna
reparations.
In some people's eyes, reparations. Then we're gonna get into the shooting that happened in Chicago at a Chinese restaurant, pizza place, whatever you want to call it, of a 14-year-old hot dog stand or whatever it is. We're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna talk about something that's kind of old, but it's still fresh. It's still coming on the news because yesterday the mother of the 19-year-old on the submersible, she came and she debunked what the aunt said.
Submarine for you black people.
Submarine for the black people. But submersible for the white, or should I say the Caucasian, or the European.
What is originally called? What is really called?
It's really called a submersible, but we like, what the fuck is a
submarine?
Yeah, so
and go get your Titan sandwich at Subway right now.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk about that too, because the mother came and she said the son really wanted to go, so we're gonna talk about that. But right now, y'all, we're gonna talk about the Cash App. Usually we come out with a video. You know what? Let's talk about the shooting first and then talk about the Cash App. Well, let's make them wait for the Cash App because that's an exclusive hit. Because we want to show this video first, so we're going to get into the shooting before it get old. Let's talk about that first.
It sounds good to me.
Let's go to that first.
All right.
A violent fight turned deadly shooting at this far south side hot dog stand is now at the center of a major legal reversal. Police say as Carlisha Hood, seen here in the pink dress, was standing in line late on Sunday, June 18th, she and a man began arguing. That's when they say Hood's 14-year-old son came into the restaurant. We've blurred the boy's face because he's a juvenile who's no longer charged with any crime. As he's watching from the doorway, police and witnesses say the man arguing with his mother, identified as Jeremy Brown, repeatedly punches Carlisha Hood in the head. The violent attack was captured on this cell phone video, which was shared on social media by a local activist and has been viewed more than 32 million times. We froze the video before the impact of the punch. Police say as his mother's being hit, Hood's 14-year-old son fired his gun repeatedly at Brown, shooting him in the back. Police say Brown ran out, and the mother and son did too, with the son still shooting.
No one else in the establishment did anything. And so once he saw his mother being severely, hit, he took action.
The two surrendered to police and were later charged with felony first-degree murder. Today, the Cook County State's Attorney dropped those charges, saying in a statement that, quote, based upon the facts, evidence, and the law, we are unable to meet our burden of proof. ABC 7 legal analyst Gil Sofer explains.
The state, once they got a hold of this video, saw what the defense would be, and that defense would be self-defense. Because now that the defense has a claim, a very strong one, it seems, that the shooter was acting in defense of his mother, who was being pummeled by an assailant. That's a pretty hard case to bring on murder charges.
So what you think about that? The fact of it being justified or not justified, what's your take on it? Do you think it was a justified shooting? Because let's have a rundown of what happened. Mm-hmm. What happened was, we really don't know what happened. We really don't say.
We don't know how
if she called him a B, a punk B,
we won't know how everything started,
or whether she threatened his life or whatever before to get him that angry. So we really don't know exactly what happened. So we can't say. Yeah. But we all know, or we both know, as men, it's not right to hit a woman.
Never hit a woman, and especially if she don't put her hands on you. That's like way out of the damn what you supposed to be doing.
I mean, like, at certain points to defend yourself, like if she had a knife or she had a
coming
gun
at you or something.
Yeah.
But don't just
do it over argument.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, let's say this then. Okay. Let's say.
You want to talk about instigation?
Well,
they say that the girlfriend.
Okay,
was in the background.
We'll get to that part, but let's break it down for the people that don't know what's going on. They were at a restaurant fussing about whatever they were fussing about. Yeah. Get your food. He was saying something like, I don't know, go ahead and get your food or whatever. So I don't know what that was about. Get your food. I don't know what her problem was that made him get to that point. Whatever they were arguing about. Maybe only the people that know for sure are the people that were in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Or the people with the extended version of the clip, because on another like FB, I don't know, we could use the Facebook terminology on it if we want to use it on this platform. But I seen the whole video, but it was still edited. It was short
more of the camera. But I wonder where is the surveillance in the place. They had surveillance in the place. Why they don't got that full?
Oh, so you saying
everything out for the full thing?
The police probably got it. Yeah, but okay, we're gonna get right to the point. Okay, they fussing.
That might be how they got out of it.
Got out of it.
Yeah, they probably got
because they showed the clips of the outside, so I know they got the clips of the inside.
Inside, yeah.
Okay, so they fussing.
You see half of the inside, and they like cut off, and it go to people's cell phone.
They did show the boy to the door pulling the actual gun out.
Yeah.
So that's one angle.
Yeah.
So you saying a different angle.
Yeah. So they probably know the full situation and
they put all that together.
Yeah.
And made a decision.
Yeah.
And some of it they showed on the news, and some of it they probably didn't release.
Yeah.
They probably know more than we know.
Yeah.
From all the camera footage.
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, let's just say whatever reason, whatever was in his mind, he found it a good idea. He came up with his own conclusion. I'm gonna hit this lady, right?
Yeah.
So he started punching the lady. So at that moment, all bets are off when it comes to people being on his side, I think.
Yeah.
So everybody is judging him now like, okay, he automatically in the wrong.
Yeah.
So whatever she did to him before that is off the table, because now everybody on her side.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, being that everybody is now on her side, does that mean anything goes from here on? Because you see her texting somebody, and all of a sudden her son pop up. So, do you think the police actually?
No, you really look at it. It's like
she was texting somebody in the original video. She was texting somebody.
Sort of commotion. Walked in.
No, but I'm saying not what her son got nothing to do with.
Who she was texting?
Yeah, who she was texting. She was texting him. At first, wasn't her son in the car? Wasn't her son in the car at first? And he just came in and just stood to the door?
Yeah.
Did he see her through the glass?
But she told him to go back.
Text him?
She told him to go back.
Yeah, she told him to go back. But did he see her through the glass, or was she texting him? Or was she, like you said, on another app or something?
Yeah.
Like, we don't know. But I can guarantee you the police wanted to see what was in the text, because she could have been texting them, hey, bring my pistol. But being that the police let them go with no charges, I'm assuming that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you they checked for that. After they seen her texting, they probably would have said, let's see your phone to see if you said bring me or come shoot this dude.
They check, cause you know they like, let's see how many black people we could put in.
Yeah, so I bet they was like, did you text your son to come shoot this guy? So they probably said, okay, she didn't do that, so we can't get them on that. Yeah. So let's debunk that. Because at first people were saying, oh, she was telling her son to shoot the guy, kill the guy when it first came out. And come to find out, she told her son to go back.
Yeah.
In the car. And the guy even thought she was talking to him. He was like, the car? What car? What are you talking about? When he was fussing, like before he even hit her, he was like, what are you talking about? Not knowing she was talking to him.
Yeah.
Because if he knew that she was talking to him, he probably would have directed his attention more to him.
Probably try to steal off on him.
Right. So maybe it's a good idea that he was confused when she would like go get back in the car. People were saying, and I'm thinking maybe the people was his girlfriend saying that the mamas told the boy to do that.
Yeah.
I think that would have been his girlfriend that put out that rumor. You know what I'm saying? Not really nobody else but her.
Yeah.
Like once they got arrested or once the police were looking for them, because I heard they turned themselves in.
And that's what's crazy, because they don't got no interviews with none of the other people that was in.
We don't know that. We don't know.
Yeah, they probably do, but man, they haven't put it out. The news people usually be on it. They ain't interview none of the people.
But it was a guy that said in the clip that we just showed, because we were gonna cut him out, but we ain't gonna cut him out. Because maybe he was there. Yeah. They said he shared the video and it's been viewed 32 million times. Was he there to be able to share the video, or did he get the video from somebody else? Or was he the one that actually put the video out? Was he standing in line? Was he in the line, the person that actually made the video? That's why they interviewed him.
Well, he the one that mad that he didn't get his food.
So now I'm thinking to myself that, okay, they put out a video, but they had a witness saying that the mother said, shoot this man, kill him. But that wasn't true. Yeah. So they took the girlfriend word for it first before they actually saw the video. And once they came out with the video, they released them. But let's get back to what actually happened. The 32-year-old, his name is Jeremy Brown, was beating on Carlisa Hood, and she's 35. All right, so whatever, he was wrong, because it's man and woman. Everybody gonna agree with what I'm saying on that part. All right. The son, we don't know his name because he underage.
Yeah.
He came in, saw his mama arguing with somebody, and then pull out a gun and shot him in the back once. Okay, now we get to the juicy part, because
he shot him in the front the first time.
Okay, shot him one time, but I heard it was from the back. Shot him in the back because he was standing behind him. Shot him one time.
The next 2 times.
But the guy left out the place and started running, and he shot him in the back 2 more times when he was trying to get away. Okay, I don't think Chicago is a stand your ground law like other states are, but it has to be some level of self-defense in Chicago. In order for them to be released on self-defense, it has to be some level of self-defense, umbrella of self-defense. Okay, with that being said, is it self-defense when the person is trying to get away from you shooting them? If they running up the street, should you keep firing your gun at them when they're no longer a threat?
Yeah, or no longer a threat is considered no longer self-defense.
I would think it's no longer
but
self-defense.
They didn't show that in the video.
So my question,
actually shoot. They say he shot at him but it's not in the video. So I don't know.
They said it. They put it out. So they had to have the surveillance of it. They might not have showed it, but they had to get it from somewhere. So what I'm asking is, my question is, if it was somebody other than a 14-year-old boy, would it be still considered self-defense to chase somebody down and continue to shoot them in the back? Now, not saying I don't believe that what the boy did was right or wrong. That's not what I'm saying. The only thing I'm saying is it self-defense when you chase somebody down and shoot them in the back that's trying to get away from you? I don't believe it is. Now, saying would I do it? I don't know. In the heat of the moment, who knows what another person would do?
If he got a gun, it's still...
If he got a gun, that's different. But if a person has no weapon...
hit my mama.
If a person has
everything's
no weapon
out the door
and they running from you, I don't think that's self-defense at that case. And at that moment, when they fleeing, the police can't do it. The police can't shoot you in the back. Even in cowboy movies, if you shoot a man in the back,
That
or
make
you
you
shoot
a coward.
if you shoot
In
an
cowboy
unarmed
movie.
man, or you shoot a person in the back, they hang you for that.
But no, cops, man, they don't care, man. Shoot you
But
anyway.
I think that
Shoot you while you hang.
in this case, it's a 14-year-old boy, so they being lenient. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They if it was an adult, somebody in the same age group, 35, 40 years old, I think that they would be more more resistant about letting you go on a self-defense.
What happened to me was totally unnecessary. Never in a million years would I have imagined being brutally attacked, beaten, and then arrested. I am thankful that the Cook County State's Attorney dismissed the case. I am also thankful to have my son with me and by my side, and also his charges being dismissed.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Attorney Brandon Brown. That's Brandon, last name Brown, Brown. This morning, we filed a 4-count complaint on behalf of Carlisha Hood. This complaint is being filed against the city of Chicago and the defendant officers who were responsible for her arrest. The complaint contains counts of malicious prosecution, false arrest, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. We do not take what happened to Ms. Hood lightly, and we intend to pursue this lawsuit, and there will be additional lawsuits forthcoming. I want to add that Ms. Hood and myself, we recognize that there has been a life lost, and so we are praying for the family of this man who lost his life. I don't want that to be forgotten. We appreciate that lives were affected by this incident, and so we don't want to dilute or diminish that. However, Ms. Hood and her son, we believe were wrong, and we intend to pursue that.
Why not? There's no defending what the deceased did before the shooting, but when that altercation is happening, why not leave rather than text your son to come into the restaurant?
So we're not going to answer that. We're not going to answer that question. That'll be something that'll come out later.
And I know. Scene but not stay with police.
Sorry.
Why did Ms. Hood leave the scene but not stay with police?
So there's video of this, right? So we don't have to go into great detail. There is video that goes over the actual attack and how it transpired, right? So again, as Brandon said, if you put yourself in that situation and you see how fast everything happened, I think you can draw a reasonable inference to that question.
What would your answer be to that question?
My answer is to look at the video surrounding it. It's clear. It's clear how you see an argument. You see everything on the video. I mean, I'm not saying anything that you aren't seeing. And so you see how it transpired from this to this to this in an instant. And an individual that goes in there that don't know, that didn't plan for this to happen, that had no want for this to happen. There's many things that can go through that individual's mind. And her state of mind, I can't tell you that right now, but we're asking you to look at it from a viewer and to come up with a reasonable inference. And yet, we have a lawsuit.
Ms. Williams,
and things were going in the lawsuit.
What was the fight over in mind?
Nothing. She was beaten for nothing.
Well, of course, I mean, nothing would.
But it wasn't a fight.
What's that?
It just wasn't a fight.
Okay, so what would you say to people who feel like, why a lawsuit? Why not just walk away? The case got dismissed. What would you say to those people who feel like the dismissal should be enough in terms of recompense?
Yes. Well, certainly the position is appreciated. I guess I would say put yourself or your mother or your sister or your daughter in those shoes. It's simply not good enough for a woman of the community. And keep in mind, we're not going to go into the details of Ms. Hood, but this is an upstanding citizen. She is a servant. She is a steward of this city. She was brutally attacked and she was arrested, and she shouldn't have done an hour in jail.
Absolutely.
So put yourself in that situation.
Everything I worked hard for being tarnished.
So that's what we would say to them.
Guys, I know you said it's in the complaint, but so we have it on tape. Prosecutors approve these charges. You have a homicide. People responsible left the scene of that homicide. What did the police do wrong in arresting this?
We're going to direct all questions as to the substance of the litigation to the
complaint. But if I was her, I would definitely not sue the Chicago Police Department or the district attorneys or whoever she's trying to sue, because you gave me a break. You gave my son a break.
Yeah.
I could have still been in jail.
Take the plea bargain.
My son could have still been locked up right now. So I feel like she violating like a lot. Yeah. She playing with fire when it comes to
exactly what I'm about to say. Don't play with fire.
Yeah, she playing with fire when it comes to God's grace. Like God give everybody like a certain amount of grace, and I feel like you disrespecting that. She disrespecting God's grace that He gave to her by like just not appreciating the good that came out of it.
It did come out on her behalf.
Yeah, like you could still be charged.
The bad came out of it, but you're lucky to.
Yeah, like you still could be charged with murder right now, sitting in jail on a $3 million bond, but you home, and I understand
your son home with you.
I understand what you. I don't even understand what you're saying. I was about to say I understand what you're saying or how you feel, but I really don't, because to me, you just trying to take advantage of a situation where you in the public eye and the whole world know about it. Yeah. Like, okay, the whole world know about what happened to me. Now I'm going to take it and run with it while the spotlight is on me, and I'm going to try to get a bag behind it. Mind you, she might have a good idea. It might be a good idea, but
it could end up a very bad idea.
Yeah, right. Like I feel where you're coming from. I feel you trying to seize the moment, the opportunity while the spotlight is on you, and I see you trying to benefit from it. But at the end of the day, God did it. You didn't do it. God did it. So you like throwing all that in the trash what God did for you, and you trying to capitalize off of it. And I feel like that don't never turn out good. Or not.
Don't try to capitalize, because that's going to take us into the next thing we're about to talk about.
Yeah, the next thing we're talking about, because we had enough of that recently, last week or this week. Yeah, this week.
Yeah, this week.
What was it? A glitch in the Cash App?
Yeah, we had a glitch at the state employees. So everybody with the Cash App was on the come up.
I mean,
they were just giving out reparations, everybody.
So describe what happened. Break it down. What happened?
Okay, so basically, state employee had a glitch in the system. So within the Cash App, you could add money that you didn't have in state employee to your Cash App. So everybody went on a frenzy of...
Not everybody. A lot of people.
Not everybody. A lot of people.
A lot of people went crazy and started... how did it work? All you had to do was pull up your phone, go to Cash App.
And however much money you want.
From state employees credit union.
If you had your Cash App linked to state employees.
So if you had your Cash App linked to state employees, all you had to do was say you wanted to like
$1 billion.
You wanted to move some money from state employees' bank. You could move money directly from state employees into your Cash App.
Yeah.
Then from there, you go to the ATM and withdraw $500, because I think the most the ATM give you is $500, right?
I think, but I don't know how. It was some people kicking off.
In return, you could also, once you get the money from Cash App, into Cash App from state employees, you could also send money to other people with Cash App. Yeah. So I think that would have been the best way around the system, because
a lot going on.
Because if you go to the ATM, you only could withdraw $500 until tomorrow. Because most ATMs, that's how they work.
But it's a lot of people spread it out. A lot of people spread it out within.
Yeah, a lot of people like put 10,000 in, send it to different people, and they plan on getting it out later.
Even the I want to say the credit union and the cash points shut down. They had to shut down. They say it was too many people doing stuff at the same time, but probably they took all the money out the machine.
So do
probably
you
wasn't
think
no money left in the machine.
Yeah, they probably drained the machine. But do you think that it's like, how should I say this? Like more so of some people they felt like it was a blessing. Some people felt like it's Cash App or the bank fault, and they gonna capitalize on it. Some people didn't have $500 to their name, so they took advantage of it. They don't care about the consequences because they say it's a top level misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And being like a top level misdemeanor, even
I feel if you had bad credit, go for it. If that was a loan for you. You could never get no loan.
Yeah, now you can get the money.
Yeah, that was your loan right there.
So at least
you're gonna have to pay it back, but
at least like a taking a bunch of money, thousands out, it would just be a misdemeanor, right? Like a bad misdemeanor.
I'm still waiting to see because nobody has got charged for any of this
stuff. A bad misdemeanor is not as bad as a felony. So you won't have a felony on your record. That's the main thing. So I could see why people were doing it. Like, hey, I could take a misdemeanor.
Yeah. I
could set up a payment plan and pay it back.
Then they talking about they're gonna close people's accounts, but they ain't closing by their accounts. That's where their money come from.
I mean, some people
are closing their own accounts.
Yeah, it's time to move. It's time to move to a different bank, I guess. After you don't rob the bank, that's what you did. Rob the bank. After you don't rob the bank, I mean, you might.
If you pay them back, you didn't rob them.
Yeah, but
well, really, they robbed Cash App because nothing came out of the bank. Matter of fact, I think state employees suing Cash App right now. I think they going in a beef right now.
I mean, it's still stealing.
Yeah,
either way you look at it, it's going to be considered stealing because that's what it is. You took something that wasn't yours, and you knew you were taking something that wasn't yours. So ain't no good luck going to come to you.
But with all of it being the government, they owe you anyway.
Karma is something that's
they ain't come back around because the government is karma for them. So
it might be karma for the banks or people. Some people
all the robbing they been doing. That's karma.
Some people saying it's a form of reparations, but I didn't think reparations should come with a charge. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. So what you think gonna happen? You think that they gonna file charges against the people that got the money, or they gonna let it
too many people? I think they just gonna
file it on their taxes as a law.
Now you probably how to do stuff.
Look at it this way.
They want to keep you in debt anyway.
The bank take a loss, however much they lost, and then they get the money back from the insurance because a certain amount is insured if they lose it. And then they still file charges against the people, and they get double back by suing the people for their money back. So now they get the insurance money and they get their money back. Of course, they ain't gonna get it all back, but some of it. So they
gonna be good.
They adding instead of subtracting.
They know what they're doing. They be like, "Oh, we got a glitch." Haha, we done got everybody.
Who knows? But I think it's a plus. They just got to wait on the money.
Yeah.
So really, the bank G'd off. They get the money back from the government, and then they charge the people and get the money back. That's more than what they started with.
Look, then Cash App G'd off by they charge interest for you to even get your money. So
yeah, they charge a certain amount of dollars. Like if you take out $100, they want $8 if you want an instant.
And people going in there, give me this 10,000, give me this 5,000.
So everybody G'd off.
Yeah, everybody G'd off.
So shout out to everybody who got one about next. Next, we're gonna talk about submersible is on the list. Mm-hmm. It's not a sub; it's a submersible because it doesn't travel on its own power. It just drops and comes straight back up.
Can I press the button?
So I think that's why it's called a submersible.
White people alert! Don't do this stuff.
That's why it's called a submersible instead of a submarine because you can't drive around once you get there. You more like float. But it got
It
like a
take you there
remote
and it
control
bring
that's
itself
on
back,
a submarine.
supposedly.
You got a PlayStation controller that you can move a little bit, but you
It's a
can't.
boomerang.
But let's check out this
Not an
submarine.
RC, but a boomerang. Come back.
Let's check it out.
I was out on a ship myself when the event happened on Sunday. The first I heard of it was Monday morning. I immediately got on my network because it's, you know, a very small community in the deep submergence group, and found out some information within about a half hour that they had lost comms and they had lost tracking simultaneously. The only scenario that I could come up with in my mind that could account for that was an implosion, a shockwave event so powerful that it actually took out a secondary system that has its own pressure vessel and its own battery power supply, which is the transponder that the ship uses to track where the sub is. So I was thinking implosion then. That's Monday morning. I got on the horn again with some other people, tracked down some intel that was probably of a military origin, although it could have been research, because there are hydrophones all over the Atlantic, and got confirmation that there was some kind of loud noise consistent with an implosion event. That seemed to me enough confirmation that I let all of my inner circle of people know that we had lost our comrades, and I encouraged everybody to raise a glass in their honor on Monday. Then I watched over the ensuing days this whole sort of everybody running around with their hair on fire search, knowing full well that it was futile, hoping against hope that I was wrong, but knowing in my bones that I wasn't. And so it certainly wasn't a surprise today. And I just feel terrible for the families that had to go through all these false hopes that kept getting dangled, you know, as it played out.
I just want to you said it was on Monday that you learned of these listening devices under the water had picked up the sound of an implosion, or what was believed to be an implosion.
Yeah, that's as it came to me. Now that's hearsay, multiple, you know, they were credible sources. Right. So, you know, I took that as a factor that I multiplied in with the other factors, and I couldn't think of any other scenario in which a sub would be lost where it lost comms and navigation at the same time and stayed out of touch and did not surface. I was also told, and I don't have confirmation on this, that they were on descent. They were a couple hundred meters above the seafloor, and they dropped their weights. Now, the only way for the ship to know that they had dropped their ascent weights, which would be an emergency abort, is if they had called that in, that they were ascending. So I believe now that they had some warning, that they heard some acoustic signature of the hull beginning to delaminate. An investigation will hopefully eventually show what did happen, because we all need to know as we go forward. The deep submergence community needs to know exactly what happened. I would never take it upon myself to ask someone else to take that type of risk. And if I were designing a multi-seat vehicle where I intended to be the pilot, we'd go through all of the rigorous test protocols and review protocols that you have with, let's say, ABS, which is the American Bureau of Shipping, or DNV, or German Lloyd's, who are the major bureaus that class a sub. They call it classing, but it's basically certification. And I think it was unconscionable that this group did not go through that rigorous process.
Well, we also want to point out OceanGate's former director of marine operations. He wrote this engineering report in 2018, I think it was. He focused his criticisms on the company's decision to rely on acoustic monitoring the sounds the hull made under pressure, as opposed to a scan of the hull. According to him, the company claimed no equipment existed that could perform that kind of a scan on the 5-inch thick carbon fiber hull. Yeah. I know it's difficult to say, obviously, without reading the report, but I'm wondering what you make of that, because it seems like this company was making a big deal about the sensors they had that could, sense a problem with the hull, and if they could sense there was a problem, then they would have time to turn around and go back up. Clearly, they didn't.
It's a bit like saying we have a bit of a poor design for the engine in our jet or our rocket ship, but we have a sensor that will tell us if it's on fire. To me, that's cold comfort. And I think that if you're building a hull where you need to have sensors to tell you that it's failing, in the process of failing, you have no business designing subs or being in that sub. They touted it, I believe, as a good thing, as a safety protocol. But I consider it a bad thing because it sheds a light directly on the fundamental flaw of their design. And I told those guys point blank, you're going to get killed in that thing. And they ultimately never dove it. I literally told the guy who bought the sub when its owner, Steve Fawcett, the famous billionaire, died in a plane crash, and the sub was then purchased by another guy to operate it. And I told him, you're going to die down there if you dive that thing. And I felt very strongly about it. I had nothing to do with OceanGate, and I never tried to warn Stockton Rush of the same thing because I thought maybe they've solved it, But I was pretty opinionated about it at the time, and they had a similar idea of doing acoustic sensors too. They call it delamination when water ingress starts to force the layers of the fibers apart, and theoretically you can hear it. I actually believe they heard it with their ears, not through the sensor system in the last moments of their lives, and that's quite a horrifying prospect.
Stockton Rush asked me if I wanted to go out there and dive this season. I wasn't interested. This father and son on Father's Day, paid $500,000 to go down in this thing. Holy crap. It's just tragic, and it's horrific, and it's unnecessary. And by the way, it's not lost on me as somebody who studied the meaning of Titanic. It's greater meaning to us, historically and societally, that it's about warnings that were ignored. That ship's lying at the bottom of the ocean, not because of the nature of its steel or the nature of its compartments, but just because of bad seamanship. The captain was warned. There were icebergs ahead. It was a moonless night, and he plowed ahead for whatever reason. I think there was some greed. There was some glory in it. He had to boot up his rear from J. Bruce Ismay to get into New York on time or early, so they'd have a headline, which I show in the film. And here we are again, and at the same place. Now there's one wreck lying next to the other wreck for the same damn reason.
This is an interesting insight. Two of the victims were the Pakistani businessman and his 19-year-old son, right? Shahzada and Suleiman Dawood, father-son, special bond. And last Sunday on Father's Day, they joined three other men on what was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime, and it wound up being the last of their lives. Now, there are all these questions, right? They're not just among us. They're among the families of people who were on that sub. According to the father's older sister, okay, so his son's aunt, right? Suleiman was afraid, the kid. And his aunt, Asma Dawood, joins us now. I am very sorry for your loss. I'm very sorry to meet you this way, but I know it's important to you to tell the story. And what do you want people to know?
I want, first of all, to thank everyone that has been there for our family throughout this horrible experience. I want to say thank you to all the people that went out there for the rescue efforts, for the time they put in, for the effort they put in, for all the people that stayed up and watched news and worried. Thanks to those, because my brother Shahzada and his son Suleiman are actually heroes. They went down there for, as you said, an adventure of a lifetime, for knowledge, for bonding, to have something special in their lives. And they just, it's just heartbreaking, but I have to say, deserve it. My brother and his son are heroes, and that's how I think they should be remembered.
You will remember them for taking the chance that they did, and you recognize that they knew that they were taking a chance, that there was danger, and you say that your nephew was aware that this was scary.
Well, my nephew was a normal human being at 19 who had to go down that kind of tunnel and get into that kind of environment would obviously be scared. That's pretty normal. So yeah, he was scared, as any 19-year-old would be. What's different about him to Sean is that he was just phenomenally trusting. He was the most kind, innocent, caring person. And he went on this in the same spirit that all the other people got on this submersible with. And he trusted everybody else because he was the youngest there. And unfortunately, was not the way things worked out, because my brother Shahzada also trusted Ocean Quest. He also trusted that they knew what they were doing. He also trusted the words about 35 years of safety. He also trusted they knew what they were talking about. He also trusted that they were going on something that was a viable adventure. I mean, come on. If there was any knowledge of any risk at all, he would not have put his child on there. That's a normal parental instinct. You know, if there is any danger, you don't expose your child to it. And my brother was a superb father. He was an excellent father. They went on this. The Titan went down in international waters because they knew that it was not authorized, that all the protocols had not been followed. But surely you can't blame someone for either Shahzada or Suleiman. Suleiman, in Suleiman's case, his dad. In Shahzada's case, Ocean Quest. You can't blame people for trusting other people. Because Ocean Quest's owner himself was on there. So you can't blame people for trusting what other people say to them. What we can do is blame the fact that the problems were not highlighted. What we can do is blame the fact that the employee who brought it up, that there were issues with it in 2018, was absolutely not listened to and basically kind of silenced and got rid of. That's what we should blame. We should blame the whole idea of a corporation just using something for its profit and covering information about safety. I mean, come on, a father and son were going on that. They should have been made aware of the safety issues that were there. For example, it has a carbon fiber body. Right. Carbon fiber, that's like putting a glass submarine down at those pressures. Surely that should have been looked at. I mean, this was the third mission. 2 missions had worked. This one didn't. But even a stopped clock gives the right time twice a day. 2 missions is nothing. How can commercial people, it be a commercial enterprise when the checks haven't been carried out? People do this in trust. When you and I get on a plane, we do it in trust. We don't expect the pilot to come out and give us a long story about it.
Stockton Rush wasn't in that position, right? He was pushing the limits. That was part of the sell, was that this was about the risk. This was about the danger. This was about pushing the frontiers. And I totally understand and appreciate your analysis, and not just because of where your heart is, but because of where your head is. Everything you're saying is reasonable. But of course, as you mentioned, and is true, Stockton Rush was on it as well. So it's hard to believe that he was selling something that he didn't believe. The question is, was it reasonable for him to believe it? And I know these questions are going to be pursued because I know we're going to keep pursuing them. And I believe that the lives that were lost deserve that as part of their legacy. It should be a legacy of the truth of the situation that took those lives. So we will stay on it. And Asma, I'm very sorry to meet you in this situation, but I appreciate your eloquence and your emotions. And I wish the family the best in using each other to get through this.
Thank you so much. If I may say one thing about Suleiman, he was the most trusting, amazing teenager, unlike teenagers normally. He had no attitude. He had nothing but a heart of gold. And even in his very untimely, very early demise, he brought the whole world together. And that, for me, it's not a surprise because, and of course I'm biased, I'm his aunt, but I do speak not just from the heart, but from the head too, because I too have been watching every moment of media and everything that's reported.
Of course.
And I may have progressive multiple sclerosis, which means my central nervous system is riddled with holes and I'm perhaps, neurally compromised. However, I have got a degree from the University of Oxford. I have got a doctorate, so I have been able to apply my mind to this, as compromised as it is. And of course, my heart is engaged with this. There's no way of disengaging. But I think that the whole world would agree with me that everybody on Titan engaged everybody's hearts and minds.
All right, so basically what we saying is what we were looking up while y'all were watching us look up stuff. We were looking at what's the test depth of submarines and stuff like that. So the test depth we came up with submarine is like 5,000 feet, which the Titanic is at like 12,600 feet. So we were saying a real military submarine can't go but like 5,000 feet.
Yeah. And I was saying that ain't really what they for, like to go that deep.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
they
these
ain't trying to
people,
discover that.
we just showed a video of James Cameron. James Cameron went about 35,000 feet. He that was him.
He got the record.
Yeah, so that's why the video I just played of him is significant to what we're talking about, because his expertise is valuable or warranted, because he know what it takes to build a submersible, because that's what he went in, a submersible. And he went 35,000 feet. And the Titanic is 12,600 feet, almost 13,000 feet. But things start crushing much earlier than that. Probably like 8,500 feet. I don't know, because I wonder, they said it on the video, like when the thing imploded. Imploding is like the opposite of exploding. Instead of it going out when it blow up, it goes in, like crushes. You know what I'm saying? So, and then James Cameron was saying something like, maybe they recognize it starting to happen before it happened. Like, I don't know if they heard sounds, like crunching sounds when they were down there, or
But they had so many people telling them that's not a good idea.
But the main thing they said was happening with the thing is not that it wouldn't go down there, but it don't supposed to go down there but so many times. So I think this was the seventh trip for Ocean Gate, the Titan. What is it? The Titan?
The Titan.
So
without proper inspection. They said it.
I mean, I think you need to take it and throw it away, though.
Yeah.
Like, and do another one the same way they do with airplanes. They test airplanes and they say, okay, you went a couple million miles on an airplane, even though the shit worked perfect, we're going to throw it away.
Like they take a car.
We're going to throw this airplane away, and we're going to build a different airplane because we done went 2 million hours or whatever, or miles or whatever on this airplane. It reached the limit. We ain't going to keep seeing how far to go because we're going to risk lives. So they need to do some tests and say, okay, the pressure, this amount of time. The pressure, this amount of time. We done tested it out 6 times. They need some type of test that they do to say, okay, we need to hang it up and to start all over with a brand new machine. Not just keep sending the same contraption down there over and over and over and over. You asking for trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like, you asking for it. Like, come on, how many times can you send something? Like, you can't drive your car from North Carolina to California. Yeah, of course it's gonna break down. Something gonna happen.
Oh, we don't need no new tire. We don't need an oil
Like,
change.
something gonna happen eventually. Like, you need to do tests, especially when you doing something innovative. Like, you the first person to ever do something. You got to have like a limit. Like, you got to set your limits. You got to do tests and say, okay, 5 times is enough. Even the 6th time that it went down there, it was 1 time too many. Maybe they should build a thing, do it 5 times, and then just build another one.
That's what James Cameron was saying.
Yeah, James Cameron, he the best. And James Cameron said that Stockton Rush, which was the CEO of Ocean Gate, asked him did he want to ride down there with him, and he declined. Come on, man. Prayers goes out that everybody lost, even the guy that was punching the lady in the restaurant. Prayers goes out to him and his family. Prayers goes out to the 5 people lost on the submersible, the Titan. That was a very heartbreaking story. You know what I'm saying? It was sad. I think everybody was following the story until the end. It's still not the end because it's breaking news. The mama came up and spoke. Every day is something new. And I think we need to do some investigation, like, so this won't happen again, because it's just like going to space. Because when I was younger, it was a ship, a school teacher going up to the moon or something, out to space. And they showed the picture on the like the world news of the space shuttle. I think the name of it was Challenger. They showed a picture of it going up in the air. And then all of a sudden, the Challenger blew up in front of the whole world. And what did people do? They pay $1 million to go in space. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say the bits and pieces that's coming together of this submersible is necessary, because it's going to be more people that, even though these people got lost, it's going to be more people that
some dummy got to do it.
It's going to be more people that want to pay to go to the bottom of the earth to see the Titanic or other parts of the ocean floor. So it's better to go. If people going to go, it's better to be safe. So that's all I'm saying. So with that being said, this has been the K Pasa podcast and reviews, and RIP to everybody that we lost this week.
That's right. You know.